Hey, what's going on, people? My name is Bryan and I'm back for another episode. In this episode, we're going to talk about how I managed to make $6,000 a month as a street photographer. I actually debated making this video in the first place. It's not necessarily because it's talking about money, but that's the opposite reason of why I got into street photography. So I didn't want this video to come off as something like professional or career-oriented or even about the hustle. This is really just about what happened to me over the last year as I've explored street photography and my creative journey. All right, so the four categories that I made my money in last year were prints, personal work, client work, and education. So I'm just gonna put out a little disclaimer here, but this video is only being made to show you what's possible. And I'm sure there's other photographers out there that are killing it way crazier than this. And there's other photographers probably just like me last year where I had no idea how I was gonna make money as a street photographer. I really just started doing this for fun. You know, it was a form of self-expression, a way to get out, be active, and start to understand like what I want to say as an artist. So for me, making money was like really just a bonus, but I hope there's some value in me breaking down how I made that money so, you know, maybe you could learn something from it. All right, so category number one is prints. And my total sales for last year were $6,500. And to this day, I still get blown away by that number. Now, for some people that might be a lot, other people that might be a little, but for someone like myself who just started street photography and had no intention on selling my work, this is crazy to me. Now, in the beginning, I got to admit that I had never imagined anyone would want to buy a print. I felt like street photography was more for myself than for others, and I didn't really think anyone would be into what I'm capturing. A major opportunity kind of kicked this off for me last year when TikTok Canada opened their head office in Toronto. The head curator of that project reached out to me and asked for some photo submissions. I didn't really think much of it at the time because there was a million artists to choose from, but I was very fortunate in getting selected. So now my work actually lives in one of the boardrooms at TikTok. So one of the first things that happened to me was while I was on vacation. I took a really interesting shot of like these four friends carrying giant surfboards across the street in Hawaii. And I didn't think much of it at the time. You know, I was more focused on the family vacation. But as soon as I posted that image, I got DM'd like crazy. People were asking, can I get that print? What size, how much? And that really started changing the game for me in 2022. Another kind of crazy example, and I don't know why these keep happening, hopefully they keep happening. I recently bought a new 35mm lens and I'm used to shooting 28. So I wanted to get used to a different focal length and I took a few test shots. The crazy thing is, as soon as I posted these test shots, people were asking me the same thing. Could I get a copy? Do you make prints? Do you offer framing? Those requests for prints turned into actual sales, and the sales of that one test shot ended up paying for that lens. All these things started showing me an opportunity. And although I didn't start street photography to make money or to even have my work in other people's homes, it is pretty interesting to think about your work living past just Instagram or past just your camera roll. All right, so we're moving on to category number two, which is personal projects. That includes everything from passion projects, collaborations, sponsorships, and even artist grants. Last year, I was able to bring in $12,500 from my personal projects. So I know I've only been shooting for 2 or 3 years, but last year was single-handedly the best year I've ever had as a creative. I was able to produce projects that I could have never imagined I would be doing at this stage of the game. So for example, personal projects last year included things like photo books, gallery tours, speaking engagements, creating products like t-shirts, and content creation. I think the important thing to remember about personal projects is they're typically not for money. You do this out of passion. You do it because you want to create something or you have something to say, or you know, you're just doing it for fun. But in my instance, for some reason, and maybe this happens for a lot of us out there, but when you put all that love and that passion into a project that you believe in, it attracts a lot of attention once it goes live. And that attention is kind of like what brings the money to you. So although the personal projects didn't make me a ton of money in the big picture, I would definitely encourage everyone to do it no matter what. There shouldn't be a monetary goal just to have fun. Category 3 is client work. And this is really interesting for me because I actually had no intention on picking up clients when it comes to photography. This was really just a form of self-expression for me, and I really just wanted to be an artist. But there's this thing that I live by called paid practice, and it's where you actually get to get better at your craft while being paid. And because I'm new to photography, this is something that I was interested in. So I actually volunteered, I put myself forward for certain jobs, and at the end of the day, kind of snowballed into something that I didn't expect. So in 2022, for client work, I earned a total of $44,000. Now I get it, street photography is supposed to be on the street. So how could client work really be something that, works with street photography? But here's the thing. I was really interested in trying to take what I do on the street and putting it into a commercial setting. So for example, BTS photography on set for TVs, commercials, YouTube, whatnot, all of those things have elements of what the street provides. You're like a fly on the wall. You're trying to capture something that maybe not everyone sees. You're being discreet, and at the end of the day, you're trying to tell a story. So over the last year, I've been hired for things like fashion photography, BTS photography, event photography, even content creation for brands. I think the cool thing about shooting for clients is that I'm really only working with people that I want to work with. The clients that I've worked with in the last year, they've really aligned with the things that I either want to learn or that I want to shoot. And at the end of the day, those things actually fund things like this, the YouTube channel, or other personal projects that I'd like to dive in on. So as much as I was against taking on clients in the beginning, it's actually proved to be a pretty unique experience. I've learned a lot, and it's definitely helping me grow. Okay, so we're on the final category, which is category number 4, education. And last year I was able to earn a total of $8,500. By no means am I an expert in photography, but over the last almost 20 years, I've been a mentor and educator within the community. I've also taught at a college and university level and helped develop curriculum for youth programs all the way up to higher education. So when it comes to the educational experience, there's a lot of different ways that we can learn. One being hands-on workshops, another one being online education, and I kind of did a hybrid of both last year. One of the things I offer for the community are photo walks. We bring a bunch of like-minded people together and we go through exercises on the street for 2 or 3 hours, and I teach. It's completely free. But what that ended up doing for me was it highlighted the fact that I bring people together through the art of photography. And a lot of organizations and businesses wanted to experience that for themselves. So I actually got hired to do photo walks, and it's interesting because normally, like I said, I would do that stuff for free. Another educational opportunity came through online workshops and panel discussions. I've interviewed incredible people like the RZA from Wu-Tang, Futura, classic OG graffiti artist based out of New York, Sean Brown, creative director, designer, photographer, Frank the Butcher out of Boston. So all these educational opportunities became another income stream. And I'm excited to share some news very soon about a new photo walk opportunity that I'm going to be doing in New York in June. So stay tuned for that. So those were the 4 categories that I earned money in as a street photographer in 2022. Now, out of those 4 categories, the grand total equaled $71,500 for the year. Now, to be honest, I have no idea what the rest of 2023 is going to look like. But once again, money is not the purpose in this case. I'm really trying to focus on my artistry. I'm trying to get better at what I do. And I really hope that you were able to gain something from this video.